All right, guys, let's talk about the Nuggets. We're almost there. We got a week left. We all know it's been a pretty rocky season for the Nuggets this year. Injuries, bouts of unseriousness, especially on defense, especially transition defense. But they've had Gordon and Christian Brown, not Peyton Watson, but those two, for a while now. They beat up a bunch of bad teams, and then they had one of the games of the year win against the Spurs. They had a huge comeback win against the Blazers, and I'm feeling a bit better about the Nuggets right now. Still a bit concerned about the defense. I mean, they've been like a middle-of-the-pack defense throughout this run. And even in these wins, I mean, the Blazers just couldn't miss from three, especially Kamara, before the comeback. And then also the Spurs had like 40-something points in the first quarter. But we saw late in the Spurs game, Aaron Gordon's defensive moments guarding Wemby. And if you were going to make the ideal type of defender to guard Wemby, just the strength, the size, all that, it would pretty much be Aaron Gordon. Wemby can make shots on him, but he's not going to be able to be physical with him much, right? And then in the Blazer win, where they did get roasted from three for a lot of the game, and there were a couple open looks late the Blazers finally missed, but also they did lock in defensively for a stretch there where like Avdija would be putting Jokic in screens and Jokic would be higher up on the action, and then the help defense from the corners was good enough from like Christian Brown or Cam Johnson or Aaron Gordon to where the two I remember the most, it was Klingon rolling to the rim. The Blazers just didn't find the roller, and then Jokic was able to get back to the paint. And when their defense is at its best, that's usually what it looks like. Again, this was mostly locking in for the fourth quarter for them. And then on the other end in these games, besides Jokic being awesome and making tough shots on Wemby, I mean, them screening Wemby with like Jamal Murray or Aaron Gordon on or off the ball. I mean, Murray got a corner three when Castle was like a little stuck in no man's land. Gordon, of course, got that dunk. It opened up Jokic for some jumpers on Wemby. And then the Blazers were kind of stuck in this between a rock and a hard place thing where if Time Lord or Klingon was on Jokic, they wouldn't be able to rotate to the rim. And then if they were on Gordon, Gordon was making threes. So it's like, what the hell are we supposed to do right now? But yeah, Jokic being one of the few guys who can really score on Wemby in 1v1s, like it is a fascinating thing for that matchup. But we can't gloss over round one, where they're probably going to get the Wolves. It's not a guarantee, but with the state of the Lakers and the Rockets who keep winning, they're probably getting the Wolves. And so that video was going to be in about a week, so I don't really want to jump the gun on that one. But the concept of where is Gobert defensively, of course, you know I'm going to talk about that for a lot of that video. If he's helping off of Gordon, how do you make him pay? If he's on Jokic, is he able to protect the basket versus everybody else? Or is he stuck on like the three-point line or Jokic facing up on him from 15 feet? You know, those type of things. But Ant and Jaden need to get healthy real quick here. But just more things for the Nuggets first. Cam Johnson's been basically 14 a game on very, very efficient shooting for the last 15 games or so, with some actions being directly run for him to where it's not just catch and shoots all the time, and he's gotten some nice passes off of this. The hope in the playoffs is that he's just consistently solid. I mean, with MPJ, it was like a roller coaster. One game he might go crazy, next game he's bad, right? Missed shots, whatever. With Cam, the fear is more so that you just forget that he's out there. We'll see what Valanciunas' spot in the rotation is in the playoffs. I mean, Jokic's minutes are going to be higher, of course, and JV just hasn't played in some games recently. For what it's worth, JV did just make a bunch of nice jumpers versus the Blazers to kind of get the energy up before that fourth quarter comeback really got going. But defensively, look, OKC has had success versus him, and I mean, if you're thinking about a round one matchup, if Valanciunas' minutes would ever overlap with Ant's, it's going to be a screen at JV every single time. Hardaway will make some big shots. Bruce is not exactly where he was a few years ago when you would put him in there over MPJ and the lineup numbers were amazing, but he's still got the role player energy. And then we think about Murray, where if you look at all of his games versus the Spurs, Thunder, and Wolves this year, he's had great games and not great games. And so much of a Nuggets-Wolves series or whoever is, can Murray create separation consistently versus your best defender? Because you're going to put him in all sorts of Jokic DHOs, flare screens. Like they've had a number of like double screen actions to get Jaden off of Murray a bit this year. Just to get back to the defense, the two things that I'm thinking about the most, transition, a lot of that's on Jokic, not complaining to the refs too much, get back fast enough, not just to match up with your guy, but also so somebody else doesn't have to rotate into the paint and then we're giving up a skip pass or a corner three or, you know, the ball's zipping around a bunch of times before you get into the frame. We don't want that stuff. The second thing is, how much do we see of David Adelman messing with the lineups to get a little more defense out there? So Databaller has their starting five defensive rating at 118. NBA.com is a little different, but I think Databaller filters out garbage time, which makes it a better tool. And 118 is not good. It's still a big positive because their offense is amazing. But if you do lineups, like two-man lineups of Gordon and either Watson, Spencer Jones, or Bruce Brown, those are all a bit better than that defensive rating. Now, teams would not guard Spencer Jones in the playoffs. They wouldn't really guard Bruce Brown, but they've dealt with that before, even if Bruce isn't the same player he was a couple years ago. We'll see. And again, we got to see if Peyton Watson's healthy. We also got to make sure that Aaron Gordon can get through an entire playoffs. So that's it, man. We'll see you with the Nuggets.